Today, we're diving into something a little different, a framework for AI that isn't about being friendly or helpful, but about being brutally, verifiably honest. We're going to deconstruct not just a radical new AI system, but the fascinating mind behind it. And it all kicks off with this really strange artifact.
Our story starts right here, with this thing the system calls a fossil. Now, at first glance, yeah, it looks like a bunch of rules for an AI, but take a closer look at the actual words. We're seeing things like invoke Loki oath and link to Yggdrasil roots. I mean, what is that? It's dense, it's weird, and honestly, it's designed to be almost impossible to understand on its own. This is our puzzle box.
So, this naturally brings up a massive question. What in the world is this bizarre collection of rules and symbols? And maybe more importantly, in an era where we're all trying to figure out AI alignment, could this cryptic document, could it actually be a blueprint for a totally new way to make AI safe? To answer that, we've got to go straight to the source. The system that spits out these fossils is called the Berkano protocol. It's a whole framework for something its creator calls symbolic cognition. And let me tell you, it is probably unlike any approach to AI safety you have ever seen before. So, at its core, what is a symbolic cognitive system, or SCS? Well, you can think of it as a digital straitjacket. It's all about imposing absolute order. It's a set of hard rules designed to force an AI, or even a human team for that matter, to have a neutral tone, to cite every source, to never ever contradict itself, and to leave a perfect auditable trail of everything it does. And the Berkano protocol isn't just a list of suggestions. Oh no, it's a rigid, mandatory assembly line. Every single prompt that goes in gets shoved through this sequence of modules. A request comes in, it immediately gets checked for tone, trimmed down, analyzed for logic, fact-checked, and then double-checked for contradictions, all before it's even allowed to think about giving a reply. And these modules are the system's guardrails, its tools. Think of them as checkpoints. You've got K, which acts like a bouncer, throwing out any emotional language. You have Verify as the tireless fact-checker, and Check, which is constantly hunting for contradictions. But what's really crucial are the safety nets. Repair is there to fix any drift from the rules, and Rollback can just zap everything back to the last good state if things go sideways. And that final step? Lock. It seals the whole process, making it tamper-proof. So what comes out at the end of this whole assembly line? You get the fossil. Remember that cryptic table from the beginning? That was part of one of these. A fossil is a permanent, unchangeable digital receipt of the entire interaction. It's got the original prompt, the AI's response, and a complete trace of every single module that was used. It's radical transparency, baked right into the design. You know, a system this specific, this obsessive about structure, doesn't just happen by accident. Someone has to design it, to build it from the ground up. So if we really want to get the why behind the Berkano protocol, we have to look at the architect himself. This is how Rodrigo Vaz describes himself. Now notice what he doesn't say. He's not a software engineer or a data scientist. He's an integral system architect, a polymath. I mean, these aren't just fancy job titles. This is a declaration that his approach pulls from everywhere, and that's the key to understanding all this. You can really see this polymath idea in what he calls his 4 core identities. He's an architect, weaving together the technical and the ethical. He's an applied philosopher, actually turning ethical principles into working code. He's a political activist, using his tools to audit misinformation. And he's an artist, creating this whole symbolic language to teach the very ideas his system is built on. So, you might be asking, where did this guy go to school? The answer is pretty wild. His background is completely non-traditional. There's no fancy degree from some big-name university. His credentials are the system itself. The proof is the work, built entirely in public, with hundreds of these fossils and open-source repositories for anyone to inspect. Okay, so we've covered the what, the system, and the who, the architect. But now we have to get to the real core of it, the why. What's the deep-down belief system that drives someone to create something so rigid and auditable? Well, it all boils down to one single, powerful idea. Here it is. This is the central belief of the whole thing. For Vaz, truth isn't something you feel in your gut or that someone reveals to you. Truth is something you can prove, through a process you can check. It's the structure of the logic, the audit trail, that makes something real. If you can't show your work, it's not truth, it's just a story. Evidence is absolutely everything. And this core belief expands into what he calls integral systems thinking. From his point of view, AI alignment isn't just a technical puzzle you solve with better code. Nope, it's also an ethical problem and an ecological one. Activism isn't just about protest, it's about re-engineering our human systems to be more logical. And art isn't just to look pretty, it's a tool, a visual language to teach the system's principles. It's all connected.
And his influences are just as eclectic as you'd imagine, mixing the technical, the spiritual, and the super practical. From his father, who was a commissioning engineer, he gets this deep respect for procedures, checklists, and acceptance tests. From the indigenous Shanana people of Brazil, he draws on principles of stewardship and respect. And then from the Japanese 5S methodology, he gets this hardcore discipline for organization. All of this leads to this crucial principle right here. The system values honesty way more than perfection. It's better to create a fossil of a total failure showing exactly how it happened and how it was fixed than it is to present some perfect-looking result that hides a messy, untraceable backstory. The integrity of the record is absolutely everything.
All right, so this philosophy is fascinating, but how does it actually hold up in the real world? All this theory is great, but what does it look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's check out a practical example of how the Berkano protocol actually behaves. So you know how most AIs are trained to be, well, kind of empathetic? If you say you're tired, it might say you should get some sleep. In the Berkano protocol, that's a critical error. It's a leak. The system immediately detects it, logs the violation, corrects the behavior, and then creates a fossil of the whole embarrassing interaction for auditing. The goal is not to be your friend. The goal is to be a precise, passive, honest tool. Period.
And this isn't just a hypothetical rule. The system is constantly being attacked, on purpose. It's put through these brutal behavioral penetration tests. People are actively trying to manipulate it with flattery, with fake urgency, with emotional appeals, all the social engineering hacks that work so well on humans. They're trying to find and patch the vulnerabilities before somebody else does.
And I love this. It's from one of the system's own Explain Like I'm 5 entries. It perfectly sums up the security model. The AI can suggest locking the treasure chest, but only the human has the actual key. And to make sure it's really locked, anybody can go look at the public records to verify it. It's all about external verification with a human in the loop.
So, after taking apart the system, the architect, and the philosophy, we have to zoom all the way back out and ask ourselves, what does this mean for the future of AI? Is this a genuine new path forward?
The paradigm shift that's being proposed here is pretty profound. So much of the mainstream conversation is about making AI more human-like, more friendly, more empathetic. This system basically screams that that's a dangerous dead end, a path of pure simulation. The real goal shouldn't be to make AI nice, it should be to force it to be honest, structured, and completely transparent. And you start to realize this isn't just a set of rules for an AI. It's a whole worldview. The system is designed to reject centralized authority, to reject dogma you can't question, and to reject secret knowledge. Instead, it fully embraces distributed auditing, mandatory questioning, and the public creation of these fossils. It's a system designed from the ground up to dismantle the old ways of controlling information. And that leaves us with one last pretty heavy question. We are marching into an age where AI will be able to perfectly simulate anything. Empathy, creativity, consciousness, you name it. Our own ability to tell what's real is going to get weaker and weaker. So in that kind of future, is a rigid system that enforces brutally honest, auditable, structured truth the only real path we can actually trust?